Everyone, welcome to the show. I have new polling to share about Donald Trump and his failing presidency, some really juicy stuff. But before I get into all the numbers, please do me a favor. Please hit the subscribe button below this video. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. It helps to get more eyeballs on this information. So I truly, truly appreciate it. And for everybody who helps out with donations to the show, you really do help to keep the show going. So greatly appreciate you as well. First up is a morning consult poll. So they conduct these every week. I've decided, though, weekly is just not enough time to see any kind of real movement. So I'm just going to share these on a monthly basis from now on, just at the beginning of each month. Because like I said, it just 1 week is not enough to see a major change. So as of now, Trump's morning consult approval rating hasn't really moved much. It was like 1%. As of the beginning of May, he is sitting at 46% approval and 52% disapproval. What's shifting the most is how the public is viewing his priorities. So more and more Americans now believe and are saying that Trump is focusing on the wrong issues. So take a look at this graphic, which shows all of these, or some of these issues, I should say. 71% of respondents said lowering costs should be Donald Trump's number one priority. That is what they see as the biggest issue. However, only 49% say, yeah, that is one of Donald Trump's top issues. How it's even that high, I don't know, because the guy literally hasn't done anything to lower prices. We're also seeing a trend away from the mass deportations and stopping illegal immigration. Only 38% said that mass deportations should be a top priority for Trump, but 59% say that is what he's focusing on. So again, a disconnect. And only 46% said that Trump should be prioritizing illegal immigration in general. However, 59% said, yeah, that is one of his top priorities. Now, this is really odd. This part of the survey was at odds with another part of the survey. So here's what I mean by this. When they asked of all of these respondents, do you approve or do you disapprove on various issues? As you guys are going to see, this is kind of at odds, or not at odds, but it is an outlier. What I'm going to share with you next is an outlier from other polls. So this is why I prefer focus groups, because there's no nuance, there's no detail with a poll, right? It's yes or a no. So for instance, on Trump's handling of immigration, when they just asked people point blank, do you agree or disagree with Trump's handling of immigration? He has a 53% approval rating and 41% disapproval in this morning consult poll. So again, I say this is an outlier, but it does show there's like this disconnect between what people think he should be focusing on versus what they're happy that he's taking care. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, if you think that he's focusing too much on something, then why would you approve of it? I don't know. Maybe they're happy that he's focused on it, but they're like, okay, now you got to get to the finances, you got to get to the economy and inflation. That's the only thing I can make of it. But anyway, in regard to the economy, he's underwater, but just barely in this morning consult poll. So 45% approve, 47% disapprove. Like I said, though, this seems to be an outlier because the May AP NORC poll shows that Trump is tanking hard on the economy. So here's how their numbers look. Regarding Trump's overall approval rating, he's at 41% only, 57% disapproval. So underwater by 16%. And when asked about Trump's handling of the economy in this AP NORC poll, it shows that he has the lowest rating ever. So his lowest score ever is on the economy right now. Or I should say his lowest economic score is in this poll. I mean, he's just, it's horrific. 36% approve of the job that Trump is doing on the economy. 63% disapprove. So that includes Republicans. Just brutal, absolutely brutal, in a good way, in a good way for us. And this poll shows that Trump is really overreaching when it comes to the Doge cuts and his attack on universities, because they asked them on the question of maintaining federal funding for scientific and medical research. They asked, do you like that or do you not? A majority, 62% of respondents said that they either somewhat or strongly favor the continuance of that funding for this research. Only 11% oppose that. Only 11% agree with Trump in cutting the funding from universities for medical research. So he is wildly out of step with the American people on that. And then when they asked about the withholding of federal funds to try to force universities to comply with Trump's orders, only 27% said, yeah, I agree with that. A plurality, 45% disagreed. They said, no, you should not hold these funds hostage. What's really interesting is that the vast majority of the respondents in this poll consider themselves to be either moderate or conservative. 47% identified as moderate, and 31% said, no, I'm conservative. So huge, huge number, right? 50%. And so if anything, this poll should have been totally in Trump's favor. Only 19% said that they consider themselves to be a liberal. So this should have been far more favorable to Trump. Another survey that should really serve as a flashing warning sign for Republicans is the latest Florida International University poll. So they receive feedback from more than 400 Venezuelans who are living in the state of Florida. And these people are not too happy with Trump. It was very much split along lines of, are you newer to the country, or have you been here for a while and you've already become a citizen? So the people who are already citizens, they are the typical like pull the rope up, or pull the ladder up after I'm already in the boat and I don't care about anybody else and what they have to deal with. And a lot of these people, what they don't understand is it was a lot easier and cheaper to become a citizen decades ago. Now it can take up to 10 years. And at minimum, you have to go hire an attorney and spend $10, $15, $20,000 to handle this, to get your citizenship. So they don't get it. A lot of these people are coming here with only the clothes they have on their back. And they're expected to come up with thousands of dollars to try to become a citizen. And then people go, oh, why didn't they just become a citizen? Why didn't they do it the right way? Okay, you want to pay for it? You want to hire them an attorney? I mean, people just are ridiculous. They just don't get it. But anyway, almost 80% of the respondents in this poll, so again, these are Venezuelans in Florida, almost 80% said that Trump's decision to end temporary protected status for Venezuelan migrants is unjust. They disagree with that. And the majority say that they think it was unlawful for Donald Trump to send Venezuelans to the El Salvador prison without any due process. So again, these are a lot of people who put Trump in office. The FIU survey also found 50% of the Venezuelans who are citizens and who voted for Trump, half of them now say, I either regret my choice, I regret voting for him, or I'm having second thoughts. I have mixed feelings about this. And then nearly 40% of the voters who say that they'll either, or of these voters, of these, well, not all of them are citizens, not all of them are voters. Of the respondents, 40% of all these respondents said in the midterms and in future elections, I will either vote for a Democrat, I will vote for the independent candidate, or if I vote for a Republican, it will be a non-MAGA Republican in all future elections. 40%. And what should concern Republicans the most is that these Venezuelans are blaming Republican lawmakers as well. So they're not just blaming Donald Trump, they're blaming the entire Republican Party. 60% of the respondents say that they now have an unfavorable view of Trump's Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. And remember, he used to be their Florida senator, and he was pretty damn popular. And now these Venezuelans are like, yeah, he's an asshole. He's a traitor. We don't trust him. We don't like him. And then 43% of these respondents said that Florida Republican lawmakers, specifically Mario Diaz-Balart, Maria Elvira Salazar, and Carlos Jimenez, they have not, according to these people, they have not adequately stood up against Trump on behalf of the Venezuelan community. So they're blaming their own Congress members in Florida. And when asked if they would vote for any of those three members of the House in the midterms, a plurality, 41% said no. Only 31% said, oh, yeah, I'll still vote for them. So this is a major shift since the election. Venezuelans, I'm sure you all remember, Venezuelans in particular came out in force in Florida and voted for Donald Trump. They helped him win the Miami-Dade County in 2024, which is the first time that a Republican has won that county since the late 1980s. So big, big shift. Another warning sign for Trump and the Republicans came from a poll that was conducted by three of the largest Latino organizations in the United States. So of more than 1,000 Latino voters that they polled, those were the only respondents. They asked specifically for Latino voters. 60% said the country is heading in the wrong direction. Only 29% said, yeah, I think, Trump's economic policies are going to help me in particular. And the president of one of these three groups told CBS News, quote, Latino voters are frustrated that their economic priorities are being ignored and that a key promise made by President Trump during the election is not being kept. Economic discontent was the most potent driver in the 2024 election, helping President Trump increase support among Latinos. So, yeah, that was the top reason that they and so many other people voted for Trump, because they fell for his lies, and now he's not doing anything about that. And then she also cited the deportations. She said, the Latino community is very concerned with what they're seeing. And in this survey, 43% of the Latino respondents said that they fear being arrested by ICE, even if they're here in the US legally, even if they're US citizens. That is the fear that he has sparked in this community that just handed him the election. So, go back and listen to the video I put out the day after the election, where people were all up in arms because the title of it was something, to the effect of, young voters and minorities are going to regret Trump's presidency the most. This is what I meant, because they are the ones who are paying the price. They are the ones who are most at risk. They are the ones who are getting hit the hardest by Donald Trump's policies, by his callousness, by his cruelty. and his lawlessness. And we all knew that, right? We all said, you're going to regret it because of these reasons. And they didn't want to hear it. No, it was, oh, he's going to fix it. He's a businessman. So, anyway, these respondents also took issue with Democrats. I should point that out. 60% of them said that the Democrats need to fight harder against Donald Trump and his policies. I mean, it could not be more crystal clear to Democrats what they need to do if they want to win people back and if they want people to trust them again. And you got freaking Chuck Schumer out there. I wrote a very strongly worded letter. Oh, well, that'll do it, Chuck. Freaking cuck. He's such a jackass. I swear to God. Know when it's time to go. Know when it's time to leave. Your time is up, Chuck. Time for you to exit. Stage left. Somebody get the hook. All right. Anyway, I will let you all know when I hear more. There will be definitely more polls coming out, and not good for Trump. I can tell you that. I'm not clairvoyant. I have a sixth sense. the sixth sense. I see bad polls in the future. Donald Trump doesn't realize they're bad polls. All right. Enough of my shenanigans today. All right. I will talk with you all soon. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.